Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you all may be here today on this Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, as I just said. We're here today for the last TTW episode of the year, as it is episode number 17. And we're here to talk about the year that was 2024. I'm going to give you my top 5 moments of the year. We're going to give away some awards. We're going to talk about all the news, notes, and rumors as we get ready for the new year, Netflix, and so much more. So I appreciate you guys that are here joining me in the morning today, wherever you all may be. If you got some questions, you want to talk about some things, let me know. We'll be here as long as I got stuff to talk about and as long as we finish the awards. And like I said, we got some comments. We'll stay here as long as you guys want to chat for. But let's not waste any more time and let's get to all the news, notes, and rumors before I give you my top 5 favorite moments of the year and before we give away some awards. And let's start it off with something that happened last night that I thought was very nice and that I thought was very cool. As Braun Strowman, they had a dark match last night on Friday Night SmackDown, and we saw them do a little bit of a tribute to the one and only Mr. Brody Lee. As you guys know, Mr. Brody Lee, Luke Harper, died 4 years on December 26th, which was yesterday, right? 26th. Okay, 2 days ago, I'm sorry. So Thursday, when he tragically passed away. Both of the families were in attendance for the show as Braun Strowman brought them into the ring and proclaimed their children as the next generation of the Wyatt family. As the Fireflies took over the arena, what an absolutely a beautiful moment that was last night after Friday Night SmackDown. And it's just one of those things, guys, we always got to remember and we always got to appreciate and just always keep the legacy going no matter what way any superstar does it or any way everything goes down. But we're going to miss Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt every single day. Let those Fireflies fly, and they'll always be with us. Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, we miss you every single day. Now, let's get into the next thing that I want to talk about, and it is a possible return of the man himself, Mr. Jeff Hardy, as Jeff Hardy had this to say via HOG. Jeff Hardy says he wants to return to the WWE. Bet. I mean, as soon as I see that, I'm like, I'm ready to go. He says I wants to return to the WWE and retire CM Punk before being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And if you guys are asking, why would Jeff Hardy want to retire CM Punk? Well, if you guys don't remember, if maybe you weren't watching wrestling, I know some people that just started watching wrestling a few years ago, Jeff Hardy, CM Punk had a rivalry. Jeff Hardy actually lost the title to CM Punk. And, you know, we always see it where they always hold those grudges, and it would be so cool to see Jeff Hardy come back. And, you know, I think that it will happen eventually. I think Matt and Jeff should go into the Hall of Fame together. And I think both of them deserve to be into the Hall of Fame separate. I mean, they both have had very good separate careers, and they've won championships, and they've done what they've wanted to do. So I think that the Hardy Boys should be 2-time Hall of Famers, and they should go in as a tag team, and they should go in together. But he says, looking back at my career now, the history is just a glimpse, like a blink of an eye. When you achieve so much and then you hear at this point, older in life, it would be really special to have a match, maybe make CM Punk retire and then go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Listen, I would be all for it, and I'd be down to see it go down. Jeff Hardy, let's get you into that Hall of Fame sooner rather than later. Now let's talk about some AEW news, as Tony Khan has confirmed he will remain in charge of AEW's head of creative in 2025 after concerns about the product. Khan stated that he's confident in his abilities and the great things happening in AEW, and that no changes or additional to creative are planned at this time. Sources, AEW World Elite Media Press Conference. So it looks like our guy Tony Khan is going to still be in charge of creative and everything else like that. And we haven't really covered and we really haven't watched too much of AEW. And I actually did not realize that World's End was on this weekend. So we will not be live for World's End tonight. It is on night if you are watching it. But AEW will be in charge and in control of Tony Khan still. And we'll have to see what happens. Again, I don't hate AEW, but it's just not, you know, what it once was. And when it first started, it was just really, really good. And I don't know what happened, but It makes me sad. But let's talk about something good that Triple H did for the legends and the Hall of Famers of WWE. As Mark Henry revealed, Triple H had sent WWE cards to all the Hall of Famers and legends for New Year's. Henry explained how grateful he was and stated that they were sent out to show appreciation to those who have paved the way in WWE. Throughout the years, as the company has put a huge emphasis on showing honor and respect under the new leadership, what a beautiful gesture and a small example of how much things have changed for the better the past few years. You love to see it. Mark Henry, and this is the way the legends should be treated. The legends should be treated this way. Hall of Famers, they do not deserve to be treated getting their stuff put in garbage bags and being sent out and then being like, we're being released because we're mad that they're not whatever. This is how you treat people. This is what happens when you treat people good. Good things happen. And the fact that Mark Henry said that, and the fact that we've seen Mark Henry a couple times on TV with his son after him being in AEW, leaving the company and everything, that just shows that things are getting better. And I really hope that we could see some of these people return. And I hope that this little thing could show others that maybe haven't returned or maybe have thought about returning. Maybe it will help them get to what, and maybe they'll come back sooner rather than later. And I'd love to see it. Triple H is amazing. And, that's just the way you got to treat people. It's really not that hard, people, guys. It's really not that hard. And also, all you got to do is show up for people. Again, not that hard. But speaking of showing up, let's talk about an award that ESPN gave away. And it was the debut of the year. It was in Chicago in June. And it was the debut of the man himself. I love you so low. It's Mr. Jacob Fatu, as he has officially won the ESPN debut of the year. As I said, made his long-awaited WWE debut on June 21st in Chicago as he took out Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton, and officially joined his new bloodline and his cousin, Solo Sikoa. Absolutely well-deserved. We love you, Jacob. Yes, we do. And, I think he has an opportunity too, and he could have been breakout superstar of the year. But I love you Solo. Jacob Fatu is debut of the year. Now let's talk about some unfortunate news, as it looks like WWE has announced that Miss Zelina Vega is injured and will be out of action indefinitely. Vega was replaced by B-Fab today in a number one contenders match tournament on X, the Speed Championship. Yesterday, not today, yesterday. This was what happened yesterday. The unfortunate news comes on Zelina Vega's birthday as well, and that's not good. So, Zelina Vega, please get better, come back stronger, come back and win this title. Maybe she comes back in the Royal Rumble, and maybe we see her see her come back in the Rumble, and we'll see what happens with Miss Zelina. But for right now, get better, heal, and come back, and just continue to do what we all know that you have been able to do your whole career. Now let's talk about some exciting news, as Ms. Ariana Grace and Channing Stacks Lorenzo have officially been engaged and are ready to get married. So congratulations to Ariana Grace and Stacks Channing from NXT for tying the knot and holding it down. A great couple. NXT, I swear NXT has more couples and more successful relationships than The Bachelor and The Bachelorette combined. It's ridiculous. But congratulations to Grace and Stacks. Big E, though, we saw Big E and all the shenanigans that the New Day have done to Big E. But Big E has got a new gig coming in 2025, and it's a new show on Netflix, as we will be talking about WWE Classics. And it looks like we will be seeing, and the show will be centered around highlights of the most iconic matches, moments, and memories from Raw throughout the years. So, if you guys have seen in the past, we've seen it happen before, where we've seen things go where they have shows like this where we just see highlights and they do top 10 things and they do this and that. And I hope Big E does make it entertaining, and I think Big E will do that, and I think he will make it a very good, entertaining show. I just don't know how I'm going to be watching highlights and matches and moments that I've already seen and that we could go back and watch on Peacock or the Netflix, wherever all that stuff is at. But Big E hosting a new show should be good, and Big E's a great host. Now, we got some WrestleMania news, as it looks like John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is expected to be the backup plan for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. It was noted that the match would be for the World Championship, with Cody Rhodes possibly breaking the record and winning his 17th championship before he retires. However, things will ultimately depend on The Rock and his availability, as he's planning to face Cody Rhodes at the event if possible, which is the priority. In addition, there was noted while some were pushing for Logan Paul versus John Cena behind the scenes, it was certainly not the majority, and it is no longer being considered as a possibility of the event. So it looks like we're either getting John Cena and Cody Rhodes, we're getting The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and then maybe we get John Cena and Gunther or something. We'll have to see what happens. And as I just mentioned, it all will depend on The Rock's availability for 2025 and WrestleMania on April 19th and April 20th. Which match would I rather see? I would love to see, either way, I think John Cena should be fighting for a title, because I think you give him that, even if he doesn't win it, you give him that opportunity to win that 17th championship. And I think John Cena having that championship opportunity could be a big story going into WrestleMania. Now, again, if The Rock is available, we see Rock and Cody, I'm totally down to see Gunther and Cena. But if we see Cody and Cena, that works for me too. We'll have to see what happens. Again, a lot can change. It is January almost. WrestleMania is in April. We'll have to see what happens as we start the road to WrestleMania on February 1st at the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis, with the women's and men's Royal Rumble match, and also a match that was announced last night if you did not see. It will be Cody Rhodes taking on the man himself, Kevin Owens, in a ladder match for the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So we'll have to see what happens with that, but keep an eye out on the news, and we'll see where the thing heads and where it lies. Speaking of WrestleMania and the 2 nights of WrestleMania, it looks like WWE is reporting to be planning a 2-night Money in the Bank event by 2027. It was noted that the plan is to have each featured Money in the Bank ladder match given the men's and the women's a bigger spotlight, as they would probably have one match on each night. This comes after the company has moved events such as WrestleMania, SummerSlam to 2 nights, and detailed plans for a potential move for the Royal Rumble to a 2-night event in 2026. Now, you guys let me know how you feel about this. You guys let me know what you guys think about all of this. And you guys let me know what you think about, just in general. Do you guys think that we should have 2-night shows? Do you guys like the 1-night shows? Would you rather it be 2 days? Is it more digestible for you? I'm very curious, and I want to hear your guys' opinions on what you guys think and what you guys feel about the 2 nights of these events and everything else like that. If you are here, we got 11 people in the house right now, guys. If you are joining us right now, please go hit that like button, subscribe if you have not yet. Let's hit that, and let's get to possibly 10 likes at least. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you like the 2 nights events, or would you rather have it be 1 night? Speaking of Netflix, we actually got 2 notes. We saw Becky Lynch in the preview for Netflix, so it looks like we should be seeing the return of the man, Becky Lynch, at Raw Netflix. It is also noted that Randy Orton is not scheduled to be on Raw at Netflix. So maybe Randy Orton's out until a couple days before the Royal Rumble. Maybe we don't see him for a little bit. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But we saw Becky Lynch in the preview for Netflix. And again, maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was what it was. But for now, I'm going to believe that we see the man, Becky Lynch, return on January 6th on Raw on Netflix, the debut episode. We'll see what happens, though. Now, let's talk about some sports. We always love sports here. But it has something to do with Chicago sports, and it has something to do with our guy, CM Punk. Because you guys know CM Punk is a big sports fan, and CM Punk is the guy and the one that is a big Blackhawks fan. He's a Cubs fan. He's a Bears fan. And he's just a Chicago sports fan. And CM Punk had this to say when he was at the game last week between the Chiefs and the Steelers on Christmas. CM Punk hilariously, and laughingly, just hysterically says nothing is worse than Chicago sports in his hometown right now of Chicago. I'm a Chicago sports fan, and ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any lower than it is right now with the Bears, the White Sox, the Cubs, the Blackhawks, the Bulls, the Chicago Fire, every single team in Chicago if you're a Chicago hometown kid like I am, Kyle, and others that we know on the YouTube community, it's not fun to be a Chicago sports fan right now. We do have some football on right now. That is actually why we're doing the episode early today, because I figured a lot of people will be watching football. Games begin in 10 minutes. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that, and hopefully you'll be watching all the games today. But Chicago sports is not a good time right now. It's really not. Now, we got some news here on Tino's Time. As I mentioned yesterday, we will be having the return of the Royal Rumble Retro Series return next week, as we'll be watching Royal Rumbles every single week, and we'll be watching multiple Royal Rumble matches on and in episodes. I'm thinking we do 3 to 4 Royal Rumble matches. We'll see how they go, and we'll see how it goes. But next week, we're starting that Royal Rumble Retro. So come and hang out as we start with 1985, and we have watched the first ever first ever Royal Rumble match. Oh my God, I already in WrestleMania season. But speaking of WrestleMania season, and in April, a week after WrestleMania, we got some news here on Tino's Time, guys. As your boy Tino, you guys know we had some wrestlers on the channel, such as Damian Kemp, Bobby Stevenson, Bobby Stevenson, a.k.a. formerly known as Damon Kemp. We had the man himself, Mr. Bobby Fish. And then we had Chicago Sweetheart, Miss Kate on the channel. And now we are going to be sponsoring, and in April, we are going to be a part of the Wyndham Indianapolis West Square Expo Circle. We're going to be sponsored by Mr. Kennedy and others. We are going to be there, or I won't be there live, but if you're there, if you're in Indianapolis, definitely go check out the Square Expo Circle. Go check out your boy Tino's logo on a few of the superstars. Go check out all the other YouTubers and all the other content creators that will be there. I'm sad I'm not able to go, but hopefully we'll be able to get to one soon. But guys, Square Expo Circle, April 25th and April 26th. Come and go see Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson, however you know him as. And look at that logo right there. Your boy Tino. We're making it big time. Oh, not yet, but hope. But as I said yesterday, 2024 was a big year. 2025 is going to be even bigger. Now let's get back to some news. I just wanted to promote that real quick. And speaking of somebody, one of my bold predictions, 2025, guys, Keith Lee, we have not seen him in AEW in a long time. 2023 in December, to be exact. And he has this to say. 2025 will test many of you, most in first quarter of the year. Keep your head up. Be mindful. And believe in yourself. I believe in you. And again, listen, this could be nothing. This could be whatever it's going to be. But I'm going to say my first bold prediction of 2025, because we did see a script leak of the Royal Rumble matches, and they put The Rock as 31. There's not 31 people in the Royal Rumble match, guys. So that is not real. I'm going to say, though, what is real at a bold prediction is we're going to see our guy Keith Lee return to the WWE in January, and Keith Lee is going to enter the Royal Rumble match. Calling it right now. Bet it up. And speaking of Netflix and Raw beginning on January 6th, we have this to let you know about. You can get all of the access to WWE live content, instant replays, and downloads 48 hours after the show ends. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and more. I don't know what they're going to do with the Vault content, such as all the old WrestleManias. I really don't know if all that's staying on Peacock. I don't know if they're all moving it to Netflix. I really have no idea how any of that is going to really go with any of these guys. But I'm very interested to see. But we do know that starting on January 6th, 48 hours after the show, you can watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the weekly programmings on Netflix. I'm just hoping that it doesn't buffer. It didn't buffer for the football games last week, so that was good. That was kind of a bonus, and that kind of made me feel a little bit better about all of it, because I was kind of worried. I'm like, if it doesn't for the football game too, then we kind of screwed. But we have one more thing to do here before we go on this episode. I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out here on today's episode here with me this afternoon. And let's give away And let me tell you some of my favorite moments of 2024. Let's give away some bold predictions, and let's give away some awards. But before we do that, I see we got some people in the chat. So let's get to the chat. Let's see what you guys are all saying. I appreciate you guys. Michelle in the house. What's up, Michelle? Michelle says, Hardy Boys versus Fraxium. I like that. I doing the SmackDown lowdown. NXT. I mean, you're not wrong there. Everybody's in love with everybody. Money in the Bank, huh? 2-night PLEs could be get more people involved. I will say that, though, that is the one thing that I am very interested to see now with SmackDown and Raw going to 3 hours. Remember, the first SmackDown 3 hours will be next week. And I'm very interested to see how it goes and how many more matches and how many more people they can get on the show. Cody versus Cena or Rock. What's up, Warren? I appreciate you stopping by. Keith Lee back with his misses. That's what I'm saying. Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Boston College versus Nebraska. We do got college football and NFL on tonight. You love to see it. I love football. But let me give you, and let's talk about some favorite moments and some bold predictions of 2024. Or 2025, I should say. So, my first one is Mr. Keith Lee going to return in the Royal Rumble match. And I'm just going to say it because, again, I just want to keep putting it out there. And hopefully it happens. But I'm going to say for the women's, we see Miss AJ Lee return. Finally. I mean, Michael Cole's been mentioning her about CM Punk. We've heard more mentions about her. And I think we see Miss AJ Lee return. Hopefully at the Royal Rumble match. My third bold prediction is I'm going to say by the end of the year in 2025, I'm going to say that LA Knight, is a world champion. LA Knight, he did just lose his U.S. title. It looks like they're doing Shinsuke Nakamura versus Andrade now for the title. And it should be interesting to see what LA Knight does here from now. But I want to see LA Knight as a world champion in 2025. Let's make it happen, everybody. Now, my fourth bold prediction is going to be that we are going to see the one and only. No, not the one. Not the one. No. The fourth bold prediction is that I'm going to say that we see the man himself, Mr. Trick Williams, be called up to the main roster. I think that is a given. But I'm going to say by the end of the year 2024 or 2025, I got to get used to saying 2025. I'm going to say Trick Williams is a two-time United States champion. Braun Breaker came up to the main roster in NXT about 4 or 5 months ago, and he's already a two-time IC champion. So let's say Trick Williams comes out, and he doesn't just win the U.S. title once, he wins it twice. And Trick Willie is going to be whooping that trick on the main roster in 2025. And now my last bold prediction, and this one isn't what I want to say, but I'm going to say that Mr. John Cena does not win the IC title or win his 17th World Championship. Hey, listen, I love my man John Cena. I want him to do one or the other, but I think it will come down to him, and I'm going to say that's my bold prediction in 2025. We will see the retirement or begin on Raw Netflix. And hey, maybe he'll show up on SmackDown next week. You never know. I mean, big surprises, I'd be down for it. But John Cena will not win either the IC champion or the world champion in 2025. And those are my bold predictions of 2025. Let me know some of your guys' bold predictions. And let me know what you guys think for the Royal Rumble, for anything going down at WrestleMania. And we'll see what happens. And again, like I said, let me know. We'll go back to this episode at the end of the year, see if I got any of these right. Favorite moments now. Let's talk about that. Because we do have a lot of favorite moments. And I think, obviously, we all know what number one will be. But I'm going to give you my top 3 favorite moments of 2024. Number 3, it's probably got to be, at least for me, because I was there live, seeing NXT, going to Chicago, seeing CM Punk and Ethan Page, Trick Williams. For me, just being there live at the debut episode of Netflix was so cool. Number 2, Obviously, I think I want to say The Rock returning, but I feel like The Rock returning was more or less like, you know, I don't know. That's like always the one moment that I just remember when it's like, if you can smell when The Rock, I don't know. It always hits me with that. And the number one, guys, obviously, it has to be the WrestleMania main event between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. That moment with Cena, The Rock, The Undertaker, Seth Rollins coming out with the Shield music. It was like the most exciting 5 minutes of our entire lives as wrestling fans. And I think if you were there, it's even a better moment. And I've heard a lot of people say it's match of the year, which I agree with them on that, which is part of it, is that match of the year probably is Roman and Cody. And yes, it has a lot to do with the ending, but it was also just a really, really good match. So we didn't do match of the year, but Roman and Cody definitely match of the year. And moment of the year has got to be when we saw that with The Rock, Undertaker, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and just all the craziness that went down on that night of WrestleMania, night 2 in Philadelphia. Oh, how crazy that was. Another match that, I really thought was very, very good, and a match that I believe that could be on the one and part of it 4 matches of the year has got to be also. I think it also did happen at WrestleMania too, but Sammy and Gunther was very good too. So I think that we got a lot of good matches of the year, to be honest. But now let's get to the awards, and let's talk about all of the things that happened this year in 2025. And let's start off with the moment of the year. And I think the biggest moment, we could say The Rock returning we could say The Rock slapping Cody Rhodes. We could say the press conference when they did all the shenanigans. There's a lot of moments that we could have happen. But I think the craziest moment has to be at SummerSlam when Miss Liv Morgan decided that she was going to jump in his arms, and Dominic finally folded, and he kissed Liv Morgan, he turned his back on Rhea Ripley, and the new Judgment Day was born with Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Carlito, JD, Raquel Rodriguez, and Finn Balor. And, it was one of those moments that, again, I think we knew it was going to happen eventually, but the fact that it did happen was crazy. And again, obviously, other honorable mentions, such as the Wyatt's debut, Mercedes Moné making her AEW debut, Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns' return at SummerSlam, and Nigel McGuinness returning to wrestling all in at AEW. So there were a lot of great moments this year. But for me, it was probably Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. A very close second to the Wyatt Six. And the only reason why the Wyatt Six wasn't number one is I just don't know what they're doing with the Wyatt Six anymore. Female breakout superstar of the year. We have a lot of names. It could be a Mariah May. It could be a person like Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, Stephanie Valkyrie, Julia, and so many others. But I'm going to say the breakout superstar of the year is because she's finally gotten the opportunity. She's finally gotten what she deserves. And that is the new U.S. champion, women's champion. It's Miss Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green has not only come from being released, being on NXT, being with Robert Stone, breaking the Royal Rumble women's record, to going and winning the inaugural U.S. champion and making a name for herself. Like I said, so many women that we could take. Mariah May from AEW and so many others from NXT and AEW. But for me, it's got to be the woman herself, Chelsea Green. That's just me. Again, let me know what you guys think. Male superstar of the year. We have a lot of people that we could mention. Jacob Fatu, Jack Perry, Joe Hendry, Javon Evans, Obafemi, and so much more. I think for me, though, personally, with how everything and how popular everything was, the breakout superstar of the year has got to be Mr. Joe Hendry. You got to say his name, and he appears. We may see him in the Royal Rumble this year, but the guy went from being and making a music video to being one of the most popular superstars in TNA, making a appearance a few times in NXT, Like I said, I think he's going to be in the Royal Rumble this year. And like I said, we have so many people we could talk about with this, with Jacob, Braun Breaker, Javon Evans, and so many others. But for me, Joe Hendry is your breakout superstar of the year. Manager of the year, I mean, again, I don't think there's any question who it is. It's the man himself. It's the wise man, Paul Heyman. Let's be real here. I mean, there's really nobody else that does it like Paul Heyman. We did not talk about it, but we're going to. And I did mention that I feel like the match of the year is definitely Cody Rhodes against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But I do also want to mention some honorable mentions for me. Drew McIntyre against CM Punk at Hell in the Cell. Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland at All In. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, as I said. Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander in that street fight. I forgot about that one. That one was really good. Young Bucks, Sting, and Darby Allin was a good one. And also Bayley and Io Sky was not a bad one at WrestleMania. There's been a lot of great matches, even matches on Raw and SmackDown that we've seen. I miss our guy Eagle and All Dragunov because I think he was putting on bangers. Gunther puts on bangers. And guys just go out there and put on matches that we all love. But again, for me personally, I think Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns has got to be match of the year. I mean, it's just insane. Pay-per-view of the year. I mean, I don't really know if we have, like, any other, like, you know, we have Bad Blood, NXT Heatwave, SummerSlam, AEW Wrestle Dream, All In, Revolution. But, I mean, can we be real here? I mean, I don't think it's a question on what pay-per-view of the year is. And it's got to be WrestleMania 40. I mean, night 1, night 2, the Roman Reigns and Rock and Cody and Seth, and then Cody and Roman, and all the other matches that we had in between. The moments that we had at WrestleMania 40, it was just absolutely insane. And it was just something that, you know, it was just one of the greatest feel-good stories and stunning moments. And it was everything you wanted if you are a wrestling fan. Now let's talk about promo of the year, because we see promos every week. Usually they start the show off with a promo because that's just what happens. That's what they want to do, and that's what it is. But promo of the year, like I said, we've seen a lot of great promos. But for me, the promo of the year has got to be Drew McIntyre and CM Punk when they were fighting, when they were feuding towards Hell in the Cell, when they were feuding with AJ Lee's and Larry's bracelet. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre went out there and just destroyed each other every single week on the microphone. And for me, that is another great rivalry that could be part of rivalry of the year, because rivalry of the year, like I said, we see a lot of rivalries just like we see promos, but that promo was just great. And to be exact, that was March 25th. The exact promo, it was before WrestleMania. And it was Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Obviously, when CM Punk was hurt and he was getting ready for his thing and everything else like that. Storyline of the year. We could see Cody Rhodes finishing his story, the Bloodline storyline, so many others. But again, I don't think... Oh, bless me. Bless me, guys. I don't think there's any question to it. Storyline of the year has got to be Cody Rhodes finishing his story. We had 2 years of Cody Rhodes trying to finish his story, and when he finally defeated Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 with the help of Seth Rollins, John Cena, The Rock, Undertaker, okay, I guess not The Rock, but you know what I mean. All of the shenanigans. I mean, I just don't think that there's any other story that was great, maybe other than the Bloodline, but I mean, nobody's come even close to that. Like I said, Bloodline into the Tribal Chief, Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley love story, Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, Mariah May and Toni Storm, Bayley and Damage Control, and JBL with Nick Nemeth storylines of the year. But let's talk about faction of the year. We could say Judgment Day. I mean, Bloodline, Damage Control, the Elite, the System, the Don Callis family, the Hurt Signic. We could say a lot, but I mean, for me, and I didn't like them at first, and honestly, the Vibe guys kind of talked me into this one. I think that the Bloodline 2.0 has got to be faction of the year. I didn't like them at first, but they brought in Solo Sikoa, they brought in Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, and then they brought in the monster himself, Mr. Jacob Fatu, and just all together, they work very well together. And it's one of those things that factions have got to be, and I feel like for me, they got to go and they got to actually be able to like build themselves and like, I don't know. That's how I feel. But Bloodline 2.0 faction of the year. Tag teams of the year. We got the Young Bucks. We got Finn Balor and JD, the Judgment Day. We got Fraxium. We got Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. The Motor City Machine Guns. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. DIY. The Street Profits. The Viking Raiders. And so many others. But for me, and for me only, like I said, this is my picks. You have your own picks. You let me know what your picks are. My picks are not wrong. Your picks are not wrong. Nobody's picks are wrong. Again, this is just my opinion of what I got for that. And for me, tag team of the year from NXT, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. NXT tag team champions for a long time. They've been doing it every week, every pay-per-view. They go out there and do it. They've had to perform on multiple different pay-per-view shows twice to go and defend those titles. And for me, Nathan Frazier and Axiom are holding it down on the NXT brand. Now, let's talk about female superstar of the year. We got Toni Storm. We got Mariah May. We got Jordynne Grace, Liv Morgan, Mercedes Moné, Rhea Ripley, or Roxanne Perez. But guys, I mean, let's be real here. Who should it go to? And there's only one woman it should go to, and she has got to be the most hateful woman in WWE, and she just doesn't like anything but a guy with a mustache, and he calls himself Dirty Dominic Mysterio. It's our champion herself, Miss Liv Morgan. I remember doing an episode in like February where all the Liv Morgan crybaby fans were freaking out. Liv Morgan wasn't a champion. Liv Morgan wasn't doing this. Liv Morgan wasn't doing that. And here we are in December, and Liv Morgan has been a champion. She's holding it down. She's doing exactly what we all thought she was going to do as champion and what we were hoping her to do when she won Money in the Bank. But this is what the championship reign that we were hoping for. And the love triangle between Dominic and Rhea and Liv has been phenomenal. And for me, Liv Morgan is Women's Superstar of the Year. Now for the final award, it is the Male Superstar of the Year. And we have guys such as Roman Reigns, Bryan Danielson, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, so many other superstars. And, again, this could go to so many other people, but from doing what happened last year, from going through all of the all of the roadblocks, all of the hurdles, and everything he had to go through, I think the male superstar is the man himself, the one that finished his story at WrestleMania 40. He's been holding on to that title since. He'll be facing Kevin Owens in a ladder match at Royal Rumble in February. And for me, Superstar of the Year has got to go to the man himself, Mr. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. For me, that's who Superstar of the Year is. Again, you could have your own picks. There's a lot of great people, like I said, Bryan Danielson, Gunther, Swerve, Will Ospreay, Drew McIntyre, and so many others. But like I said, for me, Cody Rhodes is Superstar of the Year in WWE. And those are my awards for 2025 or 2024 going in to 2025. Now let's get to the chat. Let's see what we got going down. I appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out. We do got some football going on. We got 10 minutes left in the first quarter. Bowl games are on right now. Keith back with misses, yes. Cody versus, I read those already. Okay. Imagine AJ in the Rumble with, okay, that's another thing too. I do believe that we're going to see Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez on the main roster in 2025. Jay beats Gunther at Mania. That's a good bold prediction. Becky has missed Money in the Bank. If I'm going to pick somebody to win Money in the Bank this year, I would love it to be Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae, speed champion right now, doing what she's doing with Nia. I would love to see Candice win that. Or somebody like that. I also believe that Dakota Kai should win the Intercontinental Women's Championship. And that's who I'm hoping to win the Raw side of the tournament for the women. Hendry in the Rumble, yes. Yeah, I think that's a given. Triple B. Triple B. Hey, what's up, beautiful bearded bastards? Well, guys, if you have not yet, if you did not see, a couple days ago or yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, it was our guy George's birthday. So everybody wish George a happy birthday, belated birthday. Happy birthday again, George. I hope you had a good one. Hey, we got our guy Steve in the house. What's up, Steve? What's up, Steve? How you doing? Hope you're well, my friend, and having a happy holiday 2024. Has been a year. Yes, it has been. It's been a crazy, crazy year in pro wrestling. Yes, it has. It really, really has. But you know what? It's been one crazy year. And hopefully 2025 is even crazier. And I think, again, I never get my hopes up because I never like getting my hopes up because that's just what happens and that's just what goes down and everything else like that. But what I'm going to say is that I think that 2025 Royal Rumble and possibly WrestleMania, Raw on Netflix, I think we could see a lot of crazy things that we've not seen or that we have not expected or that we were like, I don't know. I think 2025 is going to be crazy. So I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out here with me every week here on Tino's Time, every week here on TTW, every week here on all of the live streams and everything else like that. We will still be doing TTWs every week or almost every week, besides obviously if there's a pay-per-view, a playoff game, and everything else like that. But we'll be here every week, every other week, every time we can do a TTW episode next year. Talk about the news, the notes, and rumors. And remember, starting after the Royal Rumble, we will be doing the road to WrestleMania when we talk about all the news, notes, and rumors. Pretty much what we do here on Tino's Time, but we'll be focusing on WrestleMania and focusing on what would be and what could be happening as we have our third year of Road to WrestleMania here on Tino's Time. But for now, that's all I got here for you guys today. We got football games on all day today. We got football on tomorrow. We will be back here live tomorrow afternoon at 3:25 as we go to Wisconsin, as we head to the Green Bay Fudge Packers, as it's the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings in a divisional matchup for a team and teams that are fighting for a divisional round and fighting for it. It's going to be fun to see what happens as one team could be 14, 13 wins as the 5th and 6th seed in the NFC. It's an NFC North battle between the Vikings and the Packers. Come and hang out at 3 o'clock tomorrow, guys. But for now, go follow all the social medias. Go check out the Main Event Network crew. Go check out the OTM guys over there. Go check out the Southside Boys 23. Make sure you go check out me on Tino's Time. Go get your merchandise. Go become a member of the channel if you have not yet. Make sure that you go and hit that like button on this episode. You subscribe on the road to 3K. And lastly, guys, turn that notification button on so you know when we go live next, which, as I said, will be tomorrow afternoon at 3:25 for the Vikings and Packers. Michelle, you are tonight's MVP. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, and I'll see you all tomorrow, Sunday afternoon, as we begin Week 17, and we enjoy Week 17 of the NFL football season. Deuces.